This episode is... Oh, wait, I'm really hungry. Pardon me, Playhouse members and viewers. Just gonna see what they put in my lunchbox for lunch. Oh, of course. I would have never guessed. And this episode is... Out to Lunch. You're in the Playhouse. Welcome to the Playhouse. I'm Uncle Paul. And it's time for our very special hellos. Hello to the Sticker Mania family. Frank, Travis, and Ariana. Ron Martin. Stan Starr. Polly Hewitt and Patricia. Dave Sundstrom. Lux Furlong. Records and Trains. John Malillo. Andy and Tom of Two Legs. Joe Mayo, Audrey, Bob, and Loretta, Matthew Street, Beetle Brad, Paul Waters. Now, if you'd like a special hello, please just leave it in the comments below, and we'll say hello in a future episode. And that's our very special hellos for today. Well, in episode 7 of the Playhouse, previously on the Playhouse, we started looking at the world of lunchbox collecting. That's something extremely popular, and at the time I promised many more episodes about lunchbox collecting. So this is going to be the first in a series of lunchbox collecting episodes, starting with the history. Now, in 1902, believe it or not, according to the historic records, that's when the first lunchbox was made. And it was, remember, 1902. I was astounded, but that's what they say. And it was just shaped like a picnic basket. I don't know what it was made of, because I've never seen any at collector shows dating back to that year. But at least it was something for children to be able to transport their meals or their lunches to. But in 1935, yes, right on the fact, Walt Disney licensed Mickey Mouse on a lunchbox. But those also are extremely hard and rare to find. So now we take it to semi-modern day in 1950, which is credited for when the lunchbox that we all grew up and loved became a reality. And that was done by Aladdin Industries. The Playhouse is very proud to be able to show you what is considered the official first lunchbox, based also, again, television programming that was geared towards children. This is Hop Along Cassidy, again made by the Aladdin Industries Corporation. And yes, they were very simplistic. Because remember, the lunchbox idea really came from what they called the workman's lunchbox. And they were generally a dome, black-shaped lunchbox that, yes, a man, or generally like a construction worker, would take. I don't even think, maybe even office workers. I'm not too sure. But that's how they would bring their lunch, in their workman's lunchbox. So once the TV craze started, they said, all right, now it's time for children to have something fun to carry their lunch in. So Hop Along Cassidy was very popular. And again, this is 1950. And I know I hear our Playhouse members, oh, do you have the thermos, Uncle Paul? Of course we do. So this was the first thermos as well. This is bright and clean. Okay, put this here. Okay, it's got some really nice artwork on it. Aladdin Industries, copyright William Boyd. Oh, he was smart. I think he got a piece of that. Let's see, it's right at the top. Okay, this cover also is very sturdy for pouring your milk in. Okay. Now, at the same time, of course, this came in red and blue, by the way. they did two colors, but just by placing the decal over it. So this was also a very popular program at the time. And this was 2 years later, 1952, when the same company, Aladdin Industries, made a lunchbox on the popular Tom Corbett Space Cadet program. It was very popular. It's a very primitive sticker. On the back, it just says, "This kit belongs to," with the child's name that was to be written in. And this one, the child didn't write in his name. Very fortunate. Sometimes it's fun to see the child's name of who was using the lunchbox at the time. Now, again, these were very primitive, like we said, with the decals on them. So, of course, a very enterprising company called ADCO, and that's ADCO, ADCO Liberty. And in 1954, they introduced their type of lunchbox. And we're going to show you the difference, but this is really where they started. The Lone Ranger, Hi-Ho Silver, and of course the famous theme song, which is comes from the William Tell Overture. And my father had told me that bit of information. I think I remembered it correctly. But this is great graphics. Get him up, Scout. And there's Tonto, of course. Now, I'm going to show you another one that is just as popular, but in a whole different genre of lunchboxes. But we said that it was the ADCO Liberty Company, and you could tell the ADCO Liberty boxes. This is great too. It says, "This Lone Ranger's partner is," it says Pardner, is, and then you would slip it in, I guess, the child's name right here. But it's right here. These little air holes. This type of embossed steel, they have ADCO, ADCO printed, embossed right on it. By the way, they were in Newark, New Jersey, this company. And we have another example before we show you their second most popular early lunchbox. But you can tell that this is also by ADCO, because it has, see, no other lunchboxes before or after ever had these little air hole. Maybe I was thinking now that maybe it was because they wanted to think they could keep the lunch fresher if it could get a little air. I'm actually maybe thinking that was the reason as we record this. All right. But they also came out with the Howdy Doody lunchbox. So they were covering all angles of what was the most popular television series of the day. And this is, again, another classic box. It's got your air holes. It's got Howdy Doody sayings on it. It doesn't have the, oh, here it is. See what they say here. "This box belongs to my friend." Oh, because it says, because Howdy Doody speaking. So you put the child's name right in here. So those, again, are historically known as the first lunchboxes ever made that really took off. Now for fun, because we said we wanted to delve into the world of lunchbox collecting, and the Playhouse has a lot of lunchboxes. So we thought we'd talk about, since we're in the Western theme, we'd show you some of the most popular Western boxes that were ever made. And we're going to start with the Rifleman. Okay, and this is a great box. Here's, of course, Johnny Crawford played the son there. And this is a great box made by Aladdin. Chuck Connors, of course, the hero, the dad in the series. And this series really holds up, and you can find it on many of the classic television networks playing right now, such as MeTV. And moving right along to the longest running Western series ever on, Gunsmoke and Bonanza. And this was by Aladdin as well. This is embossed, great embossment, great color on this. Shows the whole family, the Cartwright family. And on this, same thing. This artwork, really nice. I've seen original artwork that they used on lunchboxes. It's generally about 11 by 14. Such incredible artwork and artists that worked on these lunchboxes. And this is Wagon Train, another long-running Western. This is this was by the Thermos Company. Nice heavy steel. Got a little story about that toward the end of our episode. And here's, of course, Robert Conrad and Ross Martin in the Wild Wild West. This is by Aladdin. So those are some of the Western boxes that are quite popular. Of course, superheroes, very, very popular and collectible to this day when it comes to the lunchbox community. So we thought we'd show you an early version of the Superman box. This is from 1967. Great depiction here. Of course, on this one as well, yes, Playhouse members, we have the Thermos. Of course, this is, yes, by the Thermos Company. Nice and bright. And of course, then we have a few years later the Superman movie lunchbox, which the depiction with Christopher Reeve on it. And this is from Aladdin, 1978. This is nice, and they got his likeness very well. Yes. Here they all are from the movie. Very, very nice. And very collectible. We're going to stay with the superheroes because these are very, very popular on the second and third collecting markets now. Here's the Marvel Comics Superheroes from 1976, Aladdin Industries, and you got Thor, Spider-Man, and Captain America on the front of this embossed box. And you have the Fantastic Four on the back. Yeah, real nice. Aladdin Industries out of Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, also very popular, the Lou Ferrigno TV series as well. The Incredible Hulk, 1978. Aladdin as well. Marvel Comics. Same nice embossment. And breaking through. Oh, love TV. Love lunchboxes. Of course, they look like a 4x3 CRT television screen. I don't think they ever thought of that, but we certainly picked up on it. Here's Superpowers, Aladdin Industries, 1983. Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman on there. These are all nice. Right now, since we told you started the episode with the first lunchbox, which of course was Hopalong Cassidy, from what we knew of it. So of course we said that was 1950 by Aladdin, and in 1985 the lunchbox, as we all knew and loved it and collected it, ended. And when I say that, I know you can get lunchboxes today, but they're not made out of steel embossment material. They're not as heavy, very thin. So these are the classic lunchboxes with these type of handles, very well constructed and heavy. And that gets to the point of my story of what the demise was for the lunchbox. Well, the last lunchbox to come off the line was our Sylvester Stallone Rambo kit, made by the Thermos Company. And it wasn't planned, but it just so happens that in the state of Florida, as the story has been told, there was a lawsuit because there was, in the preceding years, so it wasn't like there was a one-time event. There had been boiling up some complaints that parents were saying that children were using their lunchboxes as weapons in the classroom. So by the time a child hit another child over the head with a lunchbox, might have been Rambo, maybe they were playing Rambo, that was the end of the standard metal lunchbox. So there was something else that came into account. that they realized that plastic, because plastic came right after that. They kind of started wiggling them in with the plastic thermoses, which during the last 5 to 8 years, you would still get a standard metal lunchbox, but the thermos was no longer a classic insulated thermos, because also people were complaining that if you dropped it, the insulation would break on the thermos. But that's a story for another episode. So plastic thermoses were being made inside the steel lunchboxes. But once that lawsuit happened, and they realized that if they just turned the whole lunchbox into plastic, it would also be much more cost effective in the production of lunchboxes. So I think there were the two factors: the lawsuit, and let's produce these much cheaper. So if you ever see your Rambo out also in your garage sales or flea markets, pick it up, because you're picking up the very last lunchbox that was produced in the lunchbox era. Well, it's time to check the comments bowl. Want to be in the comments bowl? Just leave us a comment. We're going to pick one comment at random. And this is about episode 9, the Beatles Drive My Car mascots. And member Beetle Brad commented that he liked the Freddy Funko and Underdog large baubles and the Andy Griffith ones. Well, thank you, member Beetle Brad. And if you want to be in the comments bowl, it's simple. Just leave us a comment. And while you're at it, please make sure you subscribe, like, and share the Playhouse as we continue to hopefully keep growing. And for now, the Playhouse is closed. Thanks, Joe Friday.